By now you will have the rough edit of your movie coming together. It's now time to fine tune the edit and get rid of the excess footage that's not necessary. This is where the real skill in editing comes into play. We're aiming to achieve a final movie where the audience hasn't noticed we've cut from one shot to the next. And we'll do that by trimming our clips in the timeline in a number of ways. You can click on a clip on your timeline and you get the same boundary box coming up that we got on the event library. In this case, I want to trim the clip down to what I selected within the yellow box. So again, I'm just dragging the end to where I want my new clip to end. So say here. And if I hover inside the yellow box and right click, I choose trim to selection. And it will trim the clip down to the selection within the yellow box. Alternatively, I can use the yellow box to delete part of a clip, which is useful just for small pieces at the start or the end of a clip. So in this case, I want to delete just till after he looks at the camera, so just that small section there. To delete it, I just hit the backspace and it gets rid of it. Much of editing involves how two clips cut together in a sequence. Creating a seamless cut from one clip to the next is all part of the fine-tuning stage. So we're going to look at the precision editor, which can help us create a much more precise edit. So to bring it up, you just double click between the two clips that you're working with. So in this case, I'm going to double click here. And it should bring up the precision editor above the timeline. You can see the two clips overlapping here. This darkened area on this side shows you the bit of the clip that's unused. In this case, I want to edit it so that as this couple turn down in the bottom right, it matches the edit here. Okay, and I can do that by clicking and dragging the clip along to change the new cut point. So I want my cut point to be there, and what I'm seeing on the screen is where the new cut point will be, so I want their hands just in the air. And then I want to match it in the mid shot below. I can drag the clip back and forth like this, or I can move the mouse to where I want the new cut point to be, which let's say is there, and just click and it'll automatically shift it to the edit line, which is this blue line here we're looking at in the middle. So to play the edit, I just hit the play button up here, and if I'm happy, then I hit done. A transition is how you cut from one clip to another. A straight cut is when one clip ends and the next one appears straight away, which is what we have on our timeline. Transitions affect the pace of your movie and normally indicate a passage of time or a cut to a different scene. To insert a transition, underneath the viewing screen, there are several buttons that open the browser panel below, and this one is the transition browser, so you just click on it and it'll reveal that panel. You can see you've lots of different transitions down below, and as you hover over them, they'll animate to show you how they'll work. Next, you need to decide where you want to use the transition and which transition you're going to use. So I'm going to choose the cross dissolve. I just click and drop it between the two clips that I want to put the transition between. And if I play that, you can see how that works. So it's a cross dissolve. To make any changes to the transition, you double click on it and this little inspector will pop up. So first of all, I can change the duration. I'm going to change it to 1 second. I'm going to tick off applies to all transitions because I only want this particular transition to be 1 second. and I hit done. Play that again. If I don't like that transition, I can go back in here and change it to a different one. So I can use the cube and hit done. You can easily add titles to the beginning, middle or end of your movie. You can also have the option of adding titles to a clip. So to insert a title, click on the title browser button over here underneath the viewing panel, and you can see the range of titles that you have underneath. So some are suitable as an opening title, some for the end, and some as a subtitle that will come up over a clip. You'll notice as you hover over some of them that they're animated, they start moving. So I'm going to choose one for my title, and I click and drag it over and drop it to where I want it to go. So I'm going to put this one in at the beginning, and as soon as you drop it, it asks you to choose a background. And you can see over in the viewing screen it's giving you a little preview. So I click the one that I want, and then I can edit my title text. I change the font by clicking on the font button. So I'm going to choose this one, and I just click on it. Choose a different colour by clicking on it, and I can also make it bigger. If I want to preview it, I click on the preview button. Once I'm happy, I can hit done, and it's down on my timeline. If I need to edit the text in any way, I just double click on the blue bar above the background, and I can go in and change the text if I want. If I need to change the duration of the title, I can double click on the background and change it up here. Give my audience more time to read it. And I can change the background as well if I'm not happy with it. And hit done. To add a title to a clip, I choose it from down below and drop it onto the clip I want to use. And then I can change it up here. If I need the title to be longer, I just hover over the end and drag out the blue bar. Make sure it's long enough for people to read. If I don't like a title, I just click on it and backspace.